because he knew I'd sneak in and see if he was there.
When he came home, we used to make sure that you spent the amount of time that you've got. It might only be a week, it might only be a couple of days or 2 weeks, but you just make sure you spend as much time as you can with them.
Why is that?
Just in case they're in the next time.
He's the one for you to see. Because he did Westlife and
That's right, I remember.
Westlife, and then he did Snow White, Seven Dwarfs, and The Bear. I mean, that's only 6 years ago. I've got millions and millions. It was just because I was off the computer. Take what you want. I've got millions. There's some underneath here, you know. Oh, that's his last one here. That I took that on the morning before he went back. So that's where they were based. That's where they'd been, and that was the danger point where they'd hit. So that's the door that had been hampered. That's the ECM that didn't trigger. This one's a bit gore because there's a bit blood in this. That's taken from down in the motor hatch, but from the back of the vehicle, and that's where Michael was. There's a big stone boot there. If you ask why when he got one boot, it's because at the end of the day my son had one leg and 1 foot attached. That's the reason for the one stone boot, which is a nasty reminder. Your silver car is my Hyundai Coupe that my son had been past his driving test 5 days, and when he come back home on March the 12th he would have been given my car. These are Michael's boots. They've been to Iraq, they've been to Shiba, they've been right around, and they've come back. In one sense, it's basically a thing like, you know, will you ever walk back through that door? Will you ever wear those boots? No, you won't. So that's my remembrance. That's our Bonnie. Come on, big lad. And that's our Bruiser. These are short-legged British Bulldogs that our Michael always said he would have. These are only 9-month-old.
But so you bought the dogs because Michael wanted them?
Michael wanted 2 British Bulldogs when he was alive.
And when he came back, he wanted those dogs?
He did say...
But you bought them...
I've just bought them after his death. This is the gazebo that Michael had designed with his friend Chrissy next door. That is being built, well, in the process of being built. He designed this, so obviously we're still carrying out what he'd asked for and he'd requested. Not that he's going to come back and see it, but at the end of the day we're still carrying out what he'd requested to do. Yeah, and in the windows what we're going to have is, it's certain made glass, so when that's the correct way, but when it's held up and the light shines in, so Michael's face reflects through the gazebo. We've got Michael on cups, placemats, fridge magnets, we've got him on key rings, somebody had teapots. There was a printing firm that actually came in and helped us out, so when you poured the hot water in, it was a clear glass cup, so when you poured the water in, Michael's face came up, which I found that quite hard, because it was like gone and then he's back and then it's gone, and which I found too grueling for me to actually have in the house. We've had quite a bit made, tea coasters, pens with names on, chopping boards. There's just absolutely all sorts, even jigsaws. This is little Michael Anthony Tench again. Michael's nephew that he'd never seen.
But Jan, the decision, Michael Jr. was born after Michael...
Yeah, Michael was killed January, Michael was born in April. And that was Stacey's decision, Michael's mum, to call him Michael Anthony Tench.
But now you're looking after Michael Jr. full time?
Yes, I do. This was Michael's room. These are his pictures that he had on that back wall.
And why did you take these down?
I took them down because basically, obviously, baby Michael, growing up as Michael Anthony Tench, I didn't want a young lad to grow up in an adult room. This kid's a child. And what we have here is 2 huge boxes, and that is what's on them. And in them boxes are whatever came back from Basra. It could be a uniform, it could be a hat, it could be his bedding. Whatever Michael had in Basra are in these 2 boxes.
And you've not opened them?
Nope.
Have you ever had any grief counselling or anything like that, or?
No. I'm a work-based counsellor, trained counsellor. It's obviously what I would tell somebody else and help them through it. It's just what I take over my own head.
Well, what would you tell them?
Face their demons. Everybody says, oh, you're not going to open that box and you're going to get them out of the way, but like, no. I don't want to get too far in the line then crack. Because once I open these, because that's all that is left of Michael now. Once I open them and them clothes go, he's gone.
We got up there they told us 6 o'clock in the morning. The plane only coming at 9:30, I think it was. And then his mate come, but he'd come back on R&R, one of his mates out of his battalion. And he just said to us, well, you can bugger off now, man, you know, because his mate was there.
We had to take him back on the 19th, it was a Monday morning, wasn't it? It was a horrible day, wasn't it? I think because I kept saying to Phil, it feels different, it feels different.
Well,
We went outside.
he shook hands with you, didn't he?
Yeah, we
and
went
I
out.
made him put his arms round me, and I don't know why I did it, but I did. And then
We went outside
Yeah.
and we just waited for him to go on the plane. We shouted to him and he waved to us, and
I just stood at the fence and watched until they were out of sight.
that was the last time we saw him.
I remember clinging to him and just saying, oh, Benny, keep your head down. But it felt different. The first time we said goodbye to him, it's not the same, but because we knew about what he'd been going through.
A little bit more, yeah.
And what he was going to face, I just clung on to him. I didn't want him to go. But he just said, Mum, I'll be all right, I promise. I'll see you in 3 weeks. Because he was due home in 3 weeks.
We're in Windsor Great Park, and it's one of the Queen's estates, and Phil was lucky enough to get a job here when he was 18, so he's often seen around the park driving around in his tractor, and he loves it. He does love the job.
And you live on this land?
And we live on this land, which is so lucky, yeah. I mean, we go out to places like London and places like that, and we come back, we just cannot wait to get back here. We're so lucky that we've got this to come back to.
Well, this is the long walk which leads right the way down to the castle, and you know, and you're just helping to preserve sort of a nice, you know, a good piece of England sort of thing. But contrary to what the paper said, that I'm a you know, like they get that wrong. I was the Queen's favourite gardener. I'm not a gardener. I'm a tractor driver, and I'm sure that she's got more favourite people than me. But but there you go.
We love the royal family, everything about them. I just love the pomp and ceremony of it all, and they're just everything about it, all the grandeur of it. I think is no other country has that.
And do you see that Ben was fighting for the Queen?
Yeah,
in some ways?
and yeah, I mean they swear allegiance to the Queen when they sign in to become a Marine anyway. And he always said, and I think living here,